I, a 26-year-old man, caught my 24-year-old girlfriend cheating. I dealt with her immediately and now want to share my experience with you. We had been together for 4.5 years, and our relationship was generally good. We had a fulfilling, intimate life, and I considered her a friend. At least, I was one to her. I taught her many things, but I never made her the center of my world. I had my own goals, dreams, and interests, and that's how our relationship functioned. From the beginning, I made it crystal clear. If she ever cheated, I would break up instantly, erase everything related to her, go no contact, and move on without hesitation. This was my one non-negotiable rule. I was open to discussing and working through any other issues, but infidelity was where I drew the line. As it turns out, she was a complete manipulator. There was no obvious way to predict this would happen. I won't go into every detail, but she went to great lengths to hide her betrayal. I discovered the truth purely by chance, just dumb luck. Honestly, there were barely any red flags. Think about it. This woman did everything a partner should. She cooked, cleaned, was physically affectionate whenever I wanted, and followed through with whatever I asked. On paper, she was the ideal girlfriend, and I genuinely believed I was a good partner to her as well. Then, on December 31st, while we were celebrating New Year's in another country, I found the messages between her and the other guy. Their conversations were frequent, and I could see they had carefully planned how to avoid getting caught. They had attended parties together, and she had lied to me, saying she was with a female co-worker at a mandatory event. The web of deception was extensive. I remained unusually calm when I found out. I'm generally level-headed, but it was as if my body said, "I got you, man," and I didn't even flinch. I read through everything. Their daily chats, their strategy for secrecy, and even disturbing things I'd rather not share. Some of it was so twisted that it made me wonder if she had a hidden psychological disorder. As far as I knew, she had never shown signs of anything like that before. I took screenshots of their communication and then asked her a few simple questions. Things I wanted to know for my own awareness, like when it all started. Of course, she lied about everything. Within 5 to 10 minutes, I realized there was no point in asking further. I'd never get the truth anyway. So, I told her it was over. I ordered her to pack her things and leave the apartment. Within an hour, I had erased every trace of her, deleted photos, messages, and contacts. There were still a few things at home I needed to remove, but I was done with her. She then tried reaching out through unexpected ways. Emails from work-related accounts and other services I used. To this day, I have no idea how she even knew about them, but I blocked her everywhere and went completely silent. Everyone I told about this was in disbelief. Not her, they said. She seemed like an angel. So that's my story. I wanted to share it to highlight the kind of people that exist in this world. There's even more about their messages and the way she lied so smoothly, but maybe I'll talk about that another time. Now, I wouldn't exactly call this a happy story, because I was always fair in this relationship. But in a way, I consider it a blessing that I found out now rather than later, when things like kids, marriage, and shared property could have made things far worse. Lately, I've been reflecting on what signs I missed and how I can spot this behavior in the future. Sadly, I've found nothing. She was truly manipulative. Right now, I'm still abroad for a few more days, traveling solo, meeting people, and just going about my normal routine. To add one more detail, her messages to him were beyond sick. She sent texts while lying in bed next to me, before and after we were intimate. If someone had recorded those moments with timestamps, it would have been genuinely disturbing to see how two-faced she was. The thought alone gives me chills. I've never been the jealous or controlling type. I believe in giving people freedom and trust, but once someone betrays me, they no longer exist in my eyes. That's how I was raised, and that's a principle I've followed my whole life. I've also never cheated or put my partners in situations that could embarrass or hurt them. Even when female friends invited me for one-on-one outings that felt like disguised dates, I always declined. To me, That's disrespectful to my relationship. I take pride in that. I never expected to feel this way about such a painful experience, but honestly, I don't regret a thing. I wouldn't wish this situation on anyone, but I firmly believe there's always a better way to handle relationships, like breaking up instead of cheating. At the end of the day, I handled this exactly as I said I would. No hesitation, no unnecessary drama, just firm boundaries and immediate action. Some might call it cold, but to me, it's self-respect. I set a deal breaker, communicated it clearly, and followed through when she crossed the line. Many people claim they'd leave if cheated on, but when it happens, they spiral into doubts and second chances. I didn't. In the end, I dodged a huge bullet. I acknowledge that infidelity is immoral and, in most instances, a valid reason for ending a relationship. However, the way you frame it makes it seem like you never had even the slightest genuine emotional connection with this woman. The way you express yourself comes across as incredibly detached, almost devoid of any emotions beyond resentment and fury. Perhaps that's why people perceived you as a sociopath. Whether or not someone is unfaithful is an entirely separate matter from their overall character. Some individuals find excitement and an adrenaline rush in engaging in illicit activities without getting caught, similar to thrill-seeking burglars or street racers. Others may cheat due to emotional neglect, succumbing to a moment of weakness. Some do it out of malice, deliberately causing pain, while others act simply because they feel drawn to another person. The sheer lack of awareness in your statement is truly astonishing. To clarify, she was neither promiscuous nor reckless by any means. Including me, her total number of past partners was 6, which I don't consider particularly high. I've never been one to judge someone for their previous relationships, and I'm not against dating someone with a history. People live their lives and have their fun. There's nothing inherently wrong with that. My discomfort only surfaced after learning she had been dishonest about one of her past relationships. She initially told me that 4 of her partners, including me, were people she had been in a committed relationship with. She often emphasized how strongly she opposed casual encounters and always claimed she would never be intimate with someone she wasn't dating. She even insisted on waiting to kiss on our first date, and we held off on being intimate for 2 months, mostly because I wasn't ready to lose my virginity. Early in our relationship, she mentioned having gone through a wild phase, and I assumed she had been with several people. I wasn't bothered by it. However, she later clarified that she had only been with one person outside of a relationship and regretted it deeply because she wasn't that kind of person. That reassured me. I saw her as someone with strong principles, which made me feel more secure. A while ago, we briefly broke up, but agreed to remain friends under the condition that neither of us would pursue anyone else. If we decided to move on, we would simply cut ties instead. We still had strong feelings for each other. 3 weeks later, she called me in tears, confessing that she had been with another guy. She begged me to take her back. Since I still loved her, I tried not to judge her too harshly, even though I was deeply hurt by the deception. That incident made me reevaluate everything, and after some digging, I discovered she had lied about one of her past partners. It turned out she had been intimate with another person outside of a relationship, making the real count 3 committed partners and 3 casual ones. It's difficult to pinpoint why this bothers me so much. Had she been upfront from the start, I wouldn't have cared. But now, I feel both betrayed and unsettled. It's like I'm trying to put together pieces of a puzzle, wondering if she's kept other secrets. I understand that her past doesn't define who she is today, but learning the truth sheds light on her choices, including why she was unfaithful during our breakup. It hurts because she convinced me she was someone she wasn't. Your issue isn't her past, it's the deceit. She created an image of herself as someone with firm beliefs about intimacy, only to contradict those very values. It's not about numbers. It's about honesty. She knew how important her supposed principles were to you, yet she still manipulated the narrative. The fact that you wouldn't have minded if she had been truthful from the beginning makes it even worse. Now, you're left wondering what else she might have lied about, and that uncertainty is devastating in any relationship. At the core, this isn't about purity. It's about integrity. If she can fabricate small details to shape a specific perception of herself, what else might she be capable of hiding? Some people believe you're in the wrong. One person argues that sex is a natural, wonderful thing, and you're turning it into something it isn't. They know men and women who've had close to triple-digit partners and would be the most loyal, caring people in a relationship. Conversely, they've met people who have only ever been with one partner after marriage and turned out to be incredibly bitter and toxic. Another person thinks you're judgmental, insisting that while you claim it's about the lie, your post makes it clear that you place immense importance on her number of partners. They point out how you use words like hoe and focus on morals and purity, suggesting that if you spoke to your girlfriend in that way, she may have felt pressure to hide the truth. They acknowledge that she shouldn't have lied, but they also believe you shouldn't shame people for their choices. As long as people practice safety and responsibility, it's nobody else's business. On the other hand, others believe you're justified. One person advises you not to let the criticism get to you, affirming that you have every right to know a potential partner's sexual history, especially if you're considering a serious commitment. They believe you're completely justified in expecting honesty in a relationship and encourage you never to compromise your integrity or values for someone who doesn't respect them. The final verdict: you're not in the wrong.